Alright guys, welcome back. This is Hip Hop Anarchy. You're back here with the architect. About to review Saba's latest album, Few Good Things. Let's get to it. Alright, Free Samples track number 1. Very nice track. The featured artist came in, he delivered some nice vocals to set the tone on a break, and then when the beat transitioned, it started off like very unhip hopish, but you know, like a blues type melody, and then it switched to a hip hop beat. And Saba always do a good job delivering a solid verse on a track. His lyrics are on point. He paints a vivid picture of what he's saying. Free Samples kind of impose that, you know, he's taking care of a lot of people in his circle, and it's like he's giving them a free sample of life through his charity, so to speak. This is one set of lyrics that set out big to me, and this is actually repeated throughout the album. As I continue to listen, I hear this again later in the album. But anyhow, he says, I tried that invincible shit, but the principle is when there's niggas defending your wig, then it's a pendulum swift. I tried to spend a little less like a minimalist, but then I confess that this gets harder the bigger you get. Solid bar, and it will come back up throughout this album. But Saba, man, he's really delivering. It's another quote he made regarding the song and what it means. Yeah, but this track was very solid. Definitely 5 out of 5 for our criteria. I gave it a 5 out of 10 for replay value. I can enjoy listening to it, but I'm very neutral on how often I would. So, next track. Alright, track number 2, One Way or Every Nigga with a Budget. Very clear and cut. Saba could address a lot of things going on with rappers who splurge and use their money to take care of family in their immediate circle. He puts a lot of things in clear, logical context. He's taking care of everyone else, but it's a one-way thing. They can't take care of him. They can't afford it back. And, you know, it's like, is he putting himself in a detriment to where he is in a position, or potentially could get in a position to where he could lose everything and then no one else to take care of him? So this is a common theme throughout the album. Very concise and well put thought. This song is a 5 out of 5, 7 out of 10. High replay value. Love this track. All right, track number 3, Survivor's Guilt. Okay, so let me start it off. First off, Saba verse was really deep, really nice. He always delivered pretty well. Gherbo, in my opinion, it fit well on this track, and I don't think those two artists really belong together. I mean, different artists can make things work. It just didn't work here with these two. They're just diametrically opposed in content and substance, and that's just what it is. But Saba's wordplay in his first verse was solid with the geometry thing. I mean, you got to see it, you got to hear it. It's pretty nice. Deep bars, on point. So this track was okay. Saba carried it mostly, and gherbo could have wrecked it entirely. But I gave it a 4 out of 5 for criteria and a 3 out of 10 for replay value. Alright, track number 4, an interlude called Circus. Okay, so this is a short but sweet track. Saba does his thing with the vocals. I'm sure by the way of some of his voice effects, it sound to be animated, but it could just be him using his style, and it's pretty cool. In this track, he reflects on his stardom and his outlook before he made it, when he dropped his first mainstream project, Get Comfortable. So this is a real good track, really simple, really sweet. 5 out of 5 for criteria and 6 out of 10 for replay value. Fearmonger track number 5. Okay, solid track. Love this track. Very, very insightful thought, and addresses some of the things that Saba has consistently go into. Here's a quote here. At the beginning of making this record, I was beginning to realize how big of a fear I actually had on me. With big decisions to make, I was never sure I was doing the right thing, fearing I was actually doing enough. I'm saying that we're embedded in this irrational fear. The song takes the concept and kind of turns to abstract, assigning a character to Fearmonger. I've never made a record that sounded like anything like this. Part of the fun was releasing music, create world sonically, to have people trust you to show them around your own imagination. That says a lot, and every verse on this track was really solid. The only criticism I had on this track is that I felt like the hook could have been more clearer. But yes, great track, fun track to listen to. 5 out of 5 and a 4 out of 10. You know, it's not high on the list because of that hook and some of the delivery, but overall, it's definitely a solid track. Alright, track number 6, Come My Way. Okay, so here we go. This track right here was pretty nice. It's always great to see one of my childhood favorites and longtime legends in the game, Crazy Bone, on the track. I honestly didn't like the hook. It was good melodies but lacking substance and appeal. Both Saba and Crazy Bone verses were good. I think Saba was better Decent song overall. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 and then a 4 out of 10. Man, track number 7, Still. So I fucking love this song. Okay, the beat is amazing, the flow is amazing. Saba is without flaw with his verses. Smino, he does a great job. He keep up with the vibe and the rhythm of the song. This is a fun track to listen to. I love listening to it. As you see, the replay value is very high. It's a 9 out of 10, which is probably the highest replay value I gave any song this year thus far. But 5 out of 5 for it. So fun to listen to. Love this track. I wish that extra part at the end wasn't there. I wish the song was a little longer and had more into the verses and lyrics, far as the hook and everything. But you know, it is what it is. It was enough to keep me appeased. So yeah, fun song, good song. Love this song. Still. Alright, a simpler time. You know, Saba, he does a great job being relatable, and this is another example. He speaks about simpler times, and according to Genius, here's a quote. When I think of simpler times, it's a song where I feel like shit is moving and changing. That's the constant throughout my life and everybody else's. Is something that is changing. I think you take it for granted, the simple shit, being able to relax, being able to work even. There are some jobs that got a sense of nostalgia thinking about, just random miserable times that were awful, but there's some beauty in it where we managed to make fun of it somehow. Things that repeat on the album, a lot of things that didn't stand out as memories automatically stand out, and there was less people there. It's like, damn, remember when? And it could be the most random shit, and I'll just let it in there, but you guys can read the quote. And Reba on the album, she did an amazing job. To be honest, I like her verse and performance better than Saba on this, and there's no slight at Saba, but yeah, she definitely delivered. Great voice, great vocals. I actually checked her out, so she's a great artist and she's worth checking out. So guys, go check out Reba. But this track was really nice. I gave it a 4 out of 5 for criteria, and then a 4 out of 10 for replay value. But yeah, nice song. Alright, track number 9, Soldier. Okay, let me quote this. Watching my back like my ass is getting fat. I laughed my ass off, I did. It was really funny. Then he goes to say, scope on my curves like I'm in a sundress. Whoa the fuck, whoa, wait a minute, my man. Too many pause moments in this song, okay? Listen, love Saba, but man, this is the first time he ever done something like this, so I'm not even gonna jump on the hard. It's not like he have a whole history of doing this, but this is funny that he did it twice in the same song. So yeah, definitely pause moments, but I get him. He's being poetic and he's making some references. But it's a cool hook and relaxing beat. This is one of the most thoughtful tracks that keeps you grounded. In reality, that Saba is a relatable person. He talks about his role as a father, and he even says a quote because to toddlers, to play a father is a sacred. To play a father is sacred to sacred art to toddlers. I think it's a powerful bar, and I like it a lot. Soldier kind of emphasized this position. He has to pretty much perform the duty that he is, I guess, ordained himself to do. And really good concept, man. Again, very, very substantial music. Was music full of substance. So this is a 5 out of 5 for criteria, and a 5 out of 10 for replay value. All right, track number 10, If I Had a Dollar. Nice beat and hook. This is another track that shows Saba's wisdom as a young artist, understand the potential failure that haunts many of us, especially artists in this field. You know, it's a sad song, but I'm not going to get too personal. I'm just stick to what this track pretty much emphasizes. The bar in the hook says, if I had a dollar every time I failed, I'd be a rich nigga. Very ironic, very kind of a paradoxical. Because I guess if you failed, you got a dollar every time you failed, I guess it'll incentivize failure, which means you would succeed in failing. But it's a modest statement that shows Saba has considered many of his failures and the flimsy mentality of being rich. Another part of the hook and a part that's repeated in the song is, take a loss, take a win, take a breath, take it in, take your time. Good lyrics, good bars, just saying that, again, he breaks it down. I'm going to go ahead and go to the breakdown of his perspective. If I had a dollar, offers perspective on failure, because I think all failure is perspective. If you believe you failed, then you failed, and if you believe you didn't fail, then you didn't fail. I think more often than not, failure leads you to your next victory. So it'd be hard to really view failure as failure, and not just like lessons or steps that get you to where you want to be. True words, and then just put in perspective of Saba's growth and maturity and understanding the game and just life. So again, 5 out of 5 for criteria and 6 out of 10 for replay value. Alright, track number 11, Stop That. Okay, so Stop That goes hard with Saba showing great confidence, looking lacking humility. Unlike a lot of his other tracks, this is a track he kind of was like, "Hey, I'm going in," and it was pretty cool. Everything works on this track. He really kind of sounded like Andre 3K on this track. You know, not saying he's biting his style. He probably was influenced in some way, but he really was reminiscent of Andre 3K in this track a bit. The hook is not that deep at all. It's very simple. It works with this track. Saba is risky with the phone number reveal at the end of the track. I hope that's not a real number, but anyhow, it's a 5 out of 5 for this track and a 6 out of 10 for replay value. And yeah, man, this is a decent track. Alright, track 12, Make Believe. This one's short and sweet, straight to the point. Saba continues to put emphasis on the fact that he don't value materialism over the affluent and immaterial life. You know, he cherishes family, fans, and his abundant memories. He also expresses doing his own thing and going his own way without bonding to influence. He's on point with that, and he put it's a lot of clarity. So it's one of them things where you hear Saba and there's no question about what his focus is and what his values are. Daoud and Fushi, they was both featured on this track. They did a great job adding value to it through a feel of diversity. It felt really diverse and it made the track stand out from other tracks. The instrumental is lovely and the flow is smooth, so I gave it a 5 out of 5 for criteria and then a 6 out of 10 for replay value. Okay, track number 13, 2012. Listen, I gotta admit, I have a very high bias for ballads, okay? Especially ones like this one. This one is super relatable. I love this song. The beat is perfect and the tempo is fitting. I wanted more from this song, and I wanted to hear how the rest of the story ended after the first verse with the female friend. Maybe that was the end. Maybe they just stayed friends and that was that, but it just felt like there was more to the story. There's not much to complain about this track. This track was on point. I can't even think of anything wrong with it. Dave Wave was a good contribution. His rhythm and flow was smooth. I actually thought that was Saba at first because I'm like, damn, the Saba got vocals like this, but I realized it was Dave Wave singing the hook. So 5 out of 5 for this track and an 8 out of 10 for this track. I love listening to it. Beautiful poetry, beautiful picture painted by his lyrics. This is the one to look for. Alright, track number 14, Few Good Things, the title of the album, the title of the song. This track's put it all in perspective. As other tracks on this album, it helps paint the complete picture. Saba continues to reminisce on his come up and his choices and potential failures and all the stuff, relationships he may lost. I mean, he puts it all in perspective. It's very insightful, very sensationalizing to comprehend what he has put forth. You know, again, he comes off as a relatable person because he's not trying to be too flashy and too much of anything, but just a guy who is expressing himself. And again, it's just very relatable. Blackthought was on this track. Love to hear from Blackthought. Blackthought and Saba is a dream collaboration. It happened and it works. Grateful of it. So both of these guys work well. He was so right for the track, Blackthought. It made perfect points, and Blackthought, went deep. So without further kissing both of their butts on this track, it was a hot track. 5 out of 5 for this track and 6 out of 10 for replay value. This one was a solid one. And let's get to the additional criteria and wrap this review up. So, additional criteria to put in perspective what that is and what it composes of. Composed of several elements: fulfillment, general concept of the album. Was it all composed in the fashion that is acceptable? And that's an additional 20 points out of all the points the album could get. And with that being said, it got 19 out of 20, pretty high, almost perfect. Okay, so we're gonna get to the final review. Let's see what the rating for the album is and accolades and all the good things that came out of this album. Alright, so here's the wrap up. It's 86.5 out of 90, which makes it a 9.6 out of 10 rating. So that's pretty high, very high, classic status. 78 out of 140 in replay value, which gives it a 5.5 out of 10 rating for the replay value. So yeah, definitely solid album, man. Saba really delivered. I definitely recommend this. I created a criteria to try to put this thing, my bias aside, and that's for anybody who would want to use the system, because again, this is just a good album. So here's the accolades and wrap up. Okay, so 9.6 out of 10 album rating. Accolade: classic album. Okay, replay value is 5.5 out of 10. Best song still, favorite song still, best hook One Way, best beat still, best verse A Few Good Things verse 1, and best feature is Black Thought. So choosing the best song is really hard because there's a lot of good songs in it. Best song, just it really resonated. The first verse was really solid. Smino verse was good. It wasn't as great as other verses on the album, but it's a lovely song. So guys, really check this album out. It is I would say a classic for sure. Again, follow us on our social media, Hip Hop Anarchy, from Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok. And remember, on Twitter, put the one behind it. That's the only different one. Thank you guys for chiming in and sharing this with me. See you guys next time. Take care. Peace.